One station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we suck.
Well, you can get it nice all the time. Sometimes we're funny, sometimes, because we're human beings, you know. That's the reality.
Speak for yourself, man. I'm always funny. I'm always funny. Always.
Always?
Yeah.
There's no...
Never.
All right. That means that you would be one of a kind, because...
Yeah. Well, you know, so you and your wife were on the show earlier.
Yes, absolutely.
And, I mean, I think if you would ask my wife, she might have a different view on whether I'm funny or not. So that's why I would never bring her on air with me. You're a brave man.
I'm taking this step with Lagos helping me. That
I know. You're brave.
Because I was hoping that, you know, today at some point I was like, don't say. But, you know, that's the fun of the show itself, you know, to bring reality.
Yeah.
And also get to inspire people to do better.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
But we're here to do yet another thing, which is also inspiring people to see how they can, you know, understand how we can solve the power problem of our nation and our continent specifically. And that's why we have Power Solutions, right? And today we have a special guest already seated. And we're ready to get into the conversation. Wiebe would do us the honors to bring our guest on as we get into the conversation straight up.
All right. Thanks, Colin. So this morning we have live with us on Skype, Gbenga Kogbe, who's the managing director of Sunhive Limited, which is a fast-growing solar company in Nigeria. So Gbenga, good morning. Thanks for being on with us today. Hope you're well.
Good morning. I'm very well, thanks. Pleasure being on the radio show with you guys today.
All right, great. So listen, give us a bit. I know you're a Nigerian with a very international background. So give us a little bit of your background and who you are and a bit of your professional journey just to kick us off, so the people in Lagos know who they're hearing from.
All right. Basically, I was born in Ibadan, but I grew up most of my my early days in the north. So I grew up in Zaria. Ended up going to the military school in Zaria. So I have a lot of friends that are officers in the army. After that, I ended up going to France to finish my high school studies and did my engineering studies in the UK. Obviously, I went to school in Nigeria as a young boy, so very strong ties. And after I started off my professional career working with Shell in the North Sea and went to business school in America. I wanted to start my own business. I started up a business. Since I came from the oil and gas industry, the first thing I thought about was something to do with oil and gas, really. I'd already had kind of a strong interest in sustainable development. And so I looked at what I could do, and I looked at gas, and there was a government incentives in the UK to drive the adoption of gas for vehicles. And this was liquefied petroleum gas. So I started off with launching a company that modified cars to run on LPG. I did that for a couple of years, and as the government incentives started to dry out, I decided to do other things. I started out consulting with, working with a lot of interesting startups. One of the very interesting one is still going. It's a hydrogen car company called River Simple in the UK. And then some of my suppliers for my LPG days had moved into solar in the early days, and was supplying equipment for solar. And one of them called me and said, "Why didn't you look into solar?" And it was the second person telling me this. And so I started looking into it. I'd been looking into business models about how to make solar very attractive. And one of the business models that really caught my eye was actually providing solar free of charge in the UK. So we launched a free solar service, and that really took off like crazy around feed-in tariffs. So we put free solar panels on homes for free. The homeowners got to use the energy, and then we got paid by the government. Our investors got paid by the government. That went quite well until the government thought that it was too generous, and the tariffs were stopped, and we decided to do other things. And when I was looking to do other things, I started thinking about coming back to Nigeria at the same time. When I analyzed the Nigerian landscape, I decided to focus on commercial and industrial solar. So that's what we've really been doing. We've been doing large-scale solar projects, working with clients like Starsight, Total, oil and gas. We've done a lot of petrol stations around the country. We've done a lot of interesting projects Some of them are Nigerian first. For example, the first large diesel hybrid project, we did that a couple of years back. So our focus has been really on the commercial and industrial side. We decided to focus on the productive side of solar, helping people produce more. Most of the producers in Nigeria complain about electricity as being a problem for production. And so that's kind of what we focused on. And has always been our focus, really. And we have stayed away from the residential solar market. We're more excited about helping people produce more than helping people watch DSTV. So that's kind of that's been our focus.
So actually, wait, before Collins asks the next question, you heard him say he went to secondary school in France.
Yeah.
So Collins is actually part Cameroonian. So maybe you can do the next question in conversation in French. How's that?
On y va.
How about this? On y va? Vous êtes prêts?
Oui, sans problème.
Okay, great. But how about my listener?
I'll translate for you. How's that?
You translate, you speak French.
Yeah, oui. On peut.
Un peu? Un peu?
Le français africain, quoi. Okay, but go ahead. We'll leave it in English for now.
Tell us about Sunhive Limited, all right? You've said what you faced, what you've been doing and all that. We'd like to know how it started. We hear that it started a company in 2010 and it has delivered the first industrial PV genset solution in 2017. Now, how did you achieve this? Just bring us up to speed on this now.
Really, because we focused right on when we started focusing on commercial and industrial, one of the things that you see in every industrial commercial entity in Nigeria is a diesel generator, right? They're everywhere, they're pervasive. So it's sometimes in the solar business, we look at diesel generators as the enemy because that's what we want to get rid of. But sometimes actually it's something that we can complement and reduce its footprint, but and do that in a more economic way. So the advantages of this diesel hybrid stuff is that I got a bit of insight into this when I went to one of the shows in Germany, and there was a company called SMA that launched a hybrid controller. Basically, it allows you to integrate solar power with diesel generators without using batteries or anything like that. It's basically allows the diesel generator to be like the grid.
Okay.
And then using technology that they use in America and the UK and China and all those places without batteries. In Nigeria, we're really a battery-based system because we don't have a grid as a backup. But in places where the generator is the backup and generator is already there, you can have battery-less systems. And so when we saw that, we had a client that wanted to have a go at this, and we were happy to launch that. We went on the courses in Germany, and in fact, it's one of our success stories because the engineer that we took on training in Germany and worked with us for a couple of years, and he actually ended up getting a job in Germany. He's never he was trained in Nigeria. We trained him all from the start, and he's never lived outside Nigeria. He was interviewed on the phone. Never been to Germany apart from that course. Wow. And now he's an employee in Germany. So for me, it shows there's a lot of talent in Nigeria. And there's a skill gap, but there's not a talent gap. So if you can work on the talent and you can give them the skills and the attitude is right, then you can get first-class engineers doing fantastic things.
So Gbenga, Sunhive has done projects in 11 states in Nigeria, I believe, or perhaps more. Tell us a little bit about that, some of the key milestones, but especially I'd like to hear, you started a decade ago when probably you would talk about solar and people didn't even know what that was. And now obviously the industry has developed and grown as you've grown. Is it an easier sell now? Is it easier to convince people to use solar now, or is it still pretty difficult as it was back then?
Well, it's getting easier and easier because the cost of solar is coming down. So really, people, Nigeria is a distributed energy market. So everybody has their own solar power generation source at home. The diesel generator is not everybody's friend. Most people don't like it. You have to maintain it. It makes noise. It creates smells. It's actually not something nice to have, really. But it's cost effective in the Nigerian context. Diesel is quite cheap. So people live with that kind of evil, if you want to say. Solar, and it's friendly. It has many attributes that people like. But the cost has been out of most people's range for a long time. But over time, as the skills, economies of skills have kicked in, around the world, we've started to see more and more benefits of that in terms of cost reduction. And so it's opening up more and more markets in the Nigerian context. People that would have never considered it before are now starting to consider it because they can actually see working on different levels. And I think in a couple of years, you wouldn't have to sell solar. It will be a question about how good are you, what's your quality, and it wouldn't be about what the value proposition is anymore.
Okay.
And that's because it's becoming more affordable.
Great, it's 11:43. It's coming up to 11:44. Collins, you should have waited. But yes, it's 11:44 now. And you're listening to Power Solutions. We're having this sweet conversation on Power Solutions with Gbenga Kogbe, who is the Managing Director of Sunhive Limited. And my next question to this gentleman, and according to the International Renewable Energy Agency, globally, energy storage development in emerging markets is expected to increase by over 40%, and that's each year until 2025. What does it mean for Nigeria? Because when we hear all these things sometimes, let's make meaning to the average Nigerian.
So energy storage is basically, you can do that on the macro side and on micro level. So energy storage is, it's very important when you have intermittent energy sources. So you need to store it when the energy is available. So in many homes in Nigeria, they have an inverter with a battery bank, right? So because they're actually dealing with an intermittent grid. So just like the sun doesn't shine all the time, unlike in Europe where the grid is on all the time, in Nigeria, the grid isn't on all the time. So you need to store the energy. Now, the cost of that storage has been coming down, and the technology around storage has improved significantly. This is largely driven by consumer electronics. So if you look at your laptops, the Apple laptop now, maybe your battery can last for 8 hours. Couldn't do that back in the early days.
Okay.
If you look at electric cars, right? Electric cars were like fiction 10 years ago, and now they're going to be mainstream. So the technologies around that are slightly different from the technologies of storage that we saw in the past, which were lead acid based. It's now lithium. Lithium is the big chemistry that everybody's talking about when it comes to energy storage. It's in electric cars. And the new energy storage solutions for static storage, and you see that in consumer electronics in a big way. So your iPads, your phones, etc. So that chemistry, the cost and the know-how around that chemistry has improved significantly, and it's actually very, very appropriate for our market where you have short, burst of energy available and then not available. You need the kind of technology that allows you to store energy quickly. Lead acid doesn't allow you to do that. So as this solutions around lithium become more cost effective, we'll see that much more in emerging markets because it's really appropriate for the issues that we face in this context.
Okay, so Gbenga,
when we talk about energy storage, I think it's the chemistry around lithium is what we'll see more and more of. We've seen a lot of lead acid in the past in Nigeria. It's more and more lithium we'll see now. In fact, right now we're working on a very big lithium project in Lekki, which is about 800 kilowatt hours, almost a megawatt hour. That probably will be online in the next 4 weeks. And it will probably be the biggest lithium solution, I believe, maybe in Nigeria, but for sure in the Southwest. And we're going to see more and more of these.
So Gbenga, I was actually gonna pivot there. So you're talking about storage, and I know that Sunhive, you're now looking at pivoting more into a storage solution with a pretty innovative approach. So I guess the one in Lekki is the one that's kicking it off. But tell us how it's going to be used and how consumers and so on will benefit from that battery storage that you're putting in place.
So I mean, the history. If you look at the history of batteries are quite expensive. So if you look at the cost of batteries in Nigeria, around the storage batteries for, let's just say, for your inverters, they haven't really changed. The cost hasn't really changed, even though the dollar rate has changed, right? So the dollar is depreciated, but the cost of battery is roughly the same, and the cost of lead has actually increased over time. So there's something. What we're really seeing is that there's less lead going into those batteries in Nigeria. The batteries last less for a shorter period of time. Maybe a battery that you would have bought 10 years ago that would have lasted 2 years. Now you buy the same battery, it lasts 6 months because it doesn't actually have the same amount of lead in it anymore. It might have the same label, but it doesn't have the amount, the same chemistry. So what people are finding is that they have this expense, and it doesn't last. So what we're looking to do, what we're trying to do now is offer a solution that you pay as you go around lithium, because lithium is a new chemistry. People will be kind of maybe concerned about how long it would last, incurring pretty high upfront cost. And we think that if you pay as you go, at least as a commercial client, then you have all that confidence that you're not being sold a lead acid solution that would last 6 months and you're back to square one. So we want to be kind of partners with the customers in the sense that we put our name behind that product and our money behind the product, or our investors' money behind the product. And if they pay as they go, you can see the benefits of this new technology that is already being used worldwide in cars and in consumer electronics. So we think lithium has a big runway in Nigeria, but we need to prove the case. Well, introducing it as a pay-as-you-go solution makes it much more attractive for people.
It's 11:49. Just so you get the time correctly, check your time, get it right. And we are gradually wrapping up the conversation here on Power Solutions, and a lot has been said, a lot has been learned so far. But my next question is where I'm very interested in, because Sunhive, by the way, our guest is the CEO, the managing director of Sunhive Limited. And the next question is about the fact that Sunhive was announced as one of the winners. Where's the shakers? As one of the winners of the 2020 USADF All-On Nigeria Off-Grid Energy Challenge, to receive that's very famous $100,000. That funding, of course, came your way. What will this funding do for your company? And how much are you sending me?
The funding is very, very, very important because it enables us to buy equipment that allows us to customize solutions for the market around lithium. Yeah. It also allows us to buy in a couple of lithium packs that enables us to launch our pay-as-you-go offering. So it's actually, I think it's the first step in the right direction. The funding is highly welcomed. Partners like All-On are actually very key to developing this market and developing solar in this market. Yeah. And helping us to prove this concept is what the money is all about. So it's welcome, and we intend to use it wisely.
Great. I don't know what to do with lithium, but I asked the last part of the question, which had to do with how much.
You should ask that in French. Ask that one in French. Then your listeners won't know you're asking it.
I want them to know because they're going to get close.
Okay.
So anyways, that was well said. I expect, and congratulations again All-On, well done indeed for always making sure that you're supporting these great guys to do more.
So, and Gbenga, we're back in the cycle of that challenge now, and so it's now the next year. Application window is open. So we're now where you were a year ago when you applied. What is the advice you would give to those listening out there who are planning to apply for this? In terms of, the deadline, it's due at the end of the month. You guys had till February 29. This year they only have February 28, so they have one less day. What else would you advise companies that are thinking of applying? Should they start applying now? Should they wait till the last day? What do you recommend?
I mean, you have to start early. I think my view is actually a month is a bit too late. You should really, when you're thinking about this kind of applications, you have to think beyond the application. You need to have your processes in place, your paperwork already organized. You should have audited accounts. You should be doing that as a course of business. Nigeria is a difficult place to do those things because sometimes actually it works against you to have all your papers and your documents done. But you should have that. If you're trying to work on a different level and step up your game, then preparing and being prepared in terms of having your accounts and audited and having your processes in place and having a clear vision for your projects or what the kind of projects you're trying to do or for your company. That's pretty key in terms of building your company up beyond All-On, but actually, and therefore All-On requires it. So I think those are the key points I would say. Start early, be very clear about your proposition, and make sure that you tidy up your books and your house in general, and then you should do well.
All right.
Well, I think that's it pretty much on the show today.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, you can ask two more.
Two more. Well, okay.
After we're gone.
Oh, okay, but one more now.
One
okay.
more now.
So Gbenga, so back now to the lithium that you're championing.
Yeah.
Because I think this is the first time we've actually had someone on the show that's really focused on lithium. So it seems like lithium is a potential, solution for our energy problems in Nigeria. I've also heard there is a potential that Nigeria actually has lithium resources. I don't know if you can verify that, if you've heard that. Maybe it's just a rumor. But do you see a scenario where lithium becomes kind of the
oil,
the battery of choice, and then potentially, our next oil, that it's now the next resource that Nigeria has and we exploit, except we do it properly and actually do lithium batteries here, build them here, all that. Do you see that as a possibility?
I think you can find lithium in many parts of the world. And I won't be surprised if there is lithium in Nigeria. But I think we always have to do these things well. Historically, we start from the raw materials. But I think it's better for us to start from the markets.
Okay.
If we can develop markets first and work backward, then it makes more sense in the long run, I think. Sometimes when we start from the raw materials, you end up not adding much value. Before you know it, everything goes abroad. So if you start from close to the market as much as you can and work backwards, I think it's more sustainable kind of solutions can come out of it. So that's my own take. I think there's a big market for energy storage. I think the future of energy is distributed, and you need storage. And lithium chemistries are definitely a way forward. We can piggyback on the automotive industry and consumer electronics industry, and then so many gains to be had. But we should start from the market, understanding our market thoroughly, the economics of our markets, and then working backwards. So I think we want to start close to the market, and then we can start thinking about how we backward integrate.
All right, that's incredibly good advice.
Absolutely,
incredibly good advice.
What a perspective way to put it. I mean, that's you must be experienced. You must know what you're saying to say it that way.
And I think what he's saying, I grew up in Plateau, and columbite became this big thing in Plateau.
Okay.
And that's what's used in cell phones. And again, like he's saying, it started with the raw material, and in the end, it just created conflict. And nobody in Plateau got rich off it. It all was exported, and someone else made money.
So it's better to create a market and then move backwards. Do the work. That's beautiful advice. And I hope the listener has learned something today. At least you could go and Google what lithium is and find out the work. And never know. You never know. You might just be inspired to go into the space of renewable energy or solar energy or whatever it is you want to do. That's the idea of the show. We want more and more people to see the need to be involved in the power sector from a perspective of alternative power, not the one with NEPA no give us lights, if you know what I'm talking about. Wiebe, I must say thanks for coming. And to our guests, you have been an amazing guest, that I must say. And Wiebe wants us to have a French version. Maybe when we have an episode on a French radio, maybe somewhere.
Then he'll be our first guest.
He'll be our first guest, and I'll be the host. Trust me, you will hear a lot of that. Thank you again for speaking with us on the show today.
So thanks again, Gbenga, and I do hope that your journey to become the lithium king of Nigeria is a success.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, cheers.
All right, have a great week.
All right, guys, that's it. That's the show. It's over. Until next week again, we'll be here, right?
Amen.
Hey, is that amen to that? Amen to that, sir.
Amen.
Well, I've worked with the best team, and don't forget that Andrea was on the show for the first time today. That's it. We have to go now. Lagos has to, feel the one last time as we sign off on the show now. And how can they find me on social media? It's called Teke Wiebe. You can follow Wiebe at...
Just type in Wiebe. It should be the only one on social media.
But I don't watch this level now. Fun. I want my talk on really good. That level now. You don't watch this level now. My talk on?
Yeah, talk on now.
Great. I'll talk to Mata now.
Yeah.
So apparently, Bros Wiebe was, he just got a special, go on his social media page. And then next week, I'm going to tell you what it is. And he's going to watch it next week. By the time we announce it next week, you will come and watch it. I won't say it now because of our time.
I might not come back.
No, you'll come back. We'll watch it.
This one now, big deal now. I know if you'd enter studio again.
Well, we go watch this level. Okay. Anyhow. All right. Great. Thank you so much. Yes, Andrea, man, we have to go. Tomorrow again, we're ready to be here to have the family talk and the whole fun.
Absolutely. We had a lot of messages on WhatsApp, and it's so
serious?
sad that we couldn't go through them.
Jay.
So yeah, we just saw your messages. Thank you so much for dropping them, and thank you for welcoming me on the WhatsApp Lagos show. I'm so excited, and of course, it's going to be an amazing journey from now henceforth.
Yep.
All
so
right.
Tomorrow we'll be here again. It's going to be fun, guys.
Absolutely. My name is Andrea.
And I'm Collins.
Teke.
Thank you so much. The news coming up. We'll be back again tomorrow.
It must be true 'cause
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.